Recording in
Hey,
progress.
Coach. Thanks for joining us. We'll
You
just
guys
start
are
off
being recorded, just so you know. Watch your backs, gentlemen.
Watch your backs.
backs.
Yeah, just remember to raise your hand if you have a question. Sean, would you like to ask the first one?
Yeah, Coach. Just thanks for taking a couple minutes with us on the early signing day and whatnot. I just want to ask, just kind of generally, you've got the two signees, obviously, in Brooks and Isaac, that are officially across the line and whatnot. Do you feel like you addressed any particular need with these guys that you guys were looking at to get better, bigger, taller, stronger, whatever it was with this group?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Both these guys have ready-made kind of college Big 12 bodies in the sense of their physicality. Brooks is a really, really physical, incredibly explosive backcourt player. He would be the first one to tell you he's not crazy vertical, but laterally change of direction, turning guys' hips. I felt like of everybody I watched this summer in all of high school basketball, I didn't see a single player that was able to turn guys' hips more quickly or efficiently or without any help from any action. He's got an explosiveness that's really special. He's got big shoulders, and he's a great combination of physical and explosive. Like, guys, I think about, if you watch him, it's really hard not to see some Peyton Pritchard in the angles that he can get to as he turns the corner and the way he can change direction. And then, for the old people in here, which is just me and Jay, really are the only old people here. Chauncey Billups is a guy that was really, really physical, that get where he wanted to go, that made big shots. And I think he's really special. And Isaac, I had a really great experience with Isaac Davis. I think this was in our press release, but it's not every time that I walk out of a major AAU event and feel like the guy that we're chasing was the most physically dominant player at the entire event. But we talked about it as a staff walking out of Section 7 and really felt like Isaac Davis was the most physically imposing player, and that's the best players all up and down the Western United States. And he's his motor continues to grow, and he's becoming more and more vertical, and clearly, he's got athleticism across sport lines. And so I'm really excited about both these guys in terms of the bodies and the physicality that they're bringing the first day they walk on campus, that fits into this league.
All right, we'll go with Jay and then Mitch.
Hey, Mark, it might be an exercise in futility to try to figure out your scholarship number, how many you got left or whatever, but will you be signing any guys with this next, whatever it is, a week, 3 days period, or in the spring, or is that just to be determined with the transfer portal and all that?
Yeah, so there's still a week left in this signing period. There is a player that we're having conversations with right now. I'm not sure how that's going to go. Probably not even allowed to say that. I think I can say that much probably. But aside from that, we're done for this signing period. And then, we're going to know, we'll know the exact roster we'll have for next year probably by midnight tonight, with no changes whatsoever over the next. Jay, it's going to change every day. But we're super excited about where we are right now. Really, really excited. This group has been together for a year now. We're going to spend a second year together. We're going to get a couple more together and add some pieces. We're really excited about that.
You brought up Pritchard and Billups for Brooks Bahr, Mark. What's a comp for Isaac Davis, and does his physicality translate to the Big 12, you think?
Yeah, for sure it translates to the Big 12. There's no doubt. He's kind of, it's interesting because he was comparing himself to Yoli, who's one of his heroes. Certainly he's got this barrel-chested feel to him of Yoli and Foose and kind of along that line. What's interesting about Isaac is from his freshman year in high school, which I think is the first time I saw him play on a team, He has been a standout. His freshman year in pass was probably the best pass. Freshman year in high school, he's probably the best passer on the court a lot. And at this point, he's one of the elite level passing bigs in his class. And so his physicality and his mobility, his verticality, his long wingspan, his ability to like make quick decisions. We're finding more and more that the players that really, really are most successful in our program are players that are able to make quick decisions, quick thinking players, and he certainly fits in that category.
How big of a role was NIL in securing these guys, to your knowledge, and based on what we've talked about before with NIL at BYU? How big of a role was it securing Bahr and Davis for these guys?
It wasn't a headliner for them, but I think they have confidence that we're making incredible strides in the NIL space. We have a lot of legwork to show for that, and so I think I think both these kids are way more than NIL, but certainly that's a component where everybody wants to be compensated a little bit.
And just one more thing from me, when you're looking at long-term 2024 scholarships, what's the timeline you're expecting for Colin Chandler to return officially? And then Marcus Adams, what's the official word on the NCAA waiver for him this year? And then obviously, will it be a waiting game till next year for him?
Yeah, so the waiver process with Marcus is still ongoing. We expect Colin to be back in the spring. He should have a full summer. Still, that's mission always comes first. So, but that's kind of what we're anticipating. And that was their third question there. Was their third player.
And then just to confirm too, Bahr, Bahr is going to go on a mission right away. At least that's his plan right now.
Yeah. He's really excited about serving a mission, and so that's the plan as of now for sure.
All right, go ahead, Sean. We have time for 2 more questions.
No, I was just going to ask about a Marcus Adams update. Anything that you could add to that, coach, and specifically with Colin, because I guess he was fully signed for you guys. You're allowed to talk about him and whatnot. What's kind of the role, or what's kind of been the difference of getting missionaries back into play, I guess, do you expect with the new strength and conditioning coach and that kind of thing with him?
Yeah, so we feel like we're the world's experts on missionary RTP, and so we've been working on. First of all, you're just gaining information and data points and experience over the course of the last. I've been associated with BYU for over a decade and kind of coaching in Utah, and so. So we have a lot of data, a lot of experience, and we're always kind of tweaking and growing kind of our RTP protocol. I think we're, most recently we've been really, really blessed and really, really successful with guys being able to come off their mission and have massive impacts their freshman year. Actually, we go super slow. We're unbelievably cautious. We have a whole protocol of, I don't know what Wiz has now, 32 checkpoints that guys have to standards they have to incrementally meet in their return to play, and so we feel like we've really got this down to a science. We've just moved some really exciting new technology into our weight room, the whole Kangatech program and everything else that Wiz has brought to us from his time at Milwaukee, and so we feel like we're on the cutting edge of that, and you can't say enough about Wiz's expertise in not just strength and conditioning, but also rehab and nutrition. He's really well versed in all those spaces. So we're, that's one place that every day I worry a little bit less about, because I have more and more people in the room that are way smarter than me taking care of it. So we feel really confident about that.
All right, Mitch, last question.
Yeah, one more thing from me, Mark. Being in the Big 12, do you feel like that allows you to be more patient when extending offers to prospects? Because in the past, it seemed like BYU was always trying to be maybe the first in the door. Has that allowed more patience in the process to to determine when you're going to extend an offer to a kid?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, I just don't like doing it early. I just feel like offers increasingly are meaningless, and I just don't like it. Just on a personal, like for me personally, people kind of extend offers on the first time they've seen a kid when he's a freshman or a sophomore, and it's just not, like for us at BYU, like talent or ceiling is actually not the most important marker of the kids we recruit. It's really important for us to get to know kids. It's really important for us to kind of have a view of their insides. We really believe here that, we're going to have a pool of 10,000 potential basketball players that could come into our program on any given year. And the way you differentiate those, the way that you find out successful is you get to know them well enough to know kind of how they're built and what's inside them and what they're chasing and what their long-term motivation is, and what their character feels like. And that certainly is not appreciated in college athletics recruiting anymore, because it just isn't, and we're failing as coaches, with 2,000 plus transfers every year, and part of that certainly is the system, the way it's been changed over the last few years. But for us, there's always the pressure. There's always that pressure of like, who's going to be first to offer. But I think that there's rarely payoff from that in the end. And I think that the real payoff is from getting to know kids and understand who's going to be the best fit in your program. I think that's actually the way we're going to roll. That's what we believe in here.